Today we tell the traditional American story called a tall tale. A tall tale is a story about a person that is larger than life. The descriptions in this story are exaggerated, much greater than in real life. Long ago, the people who settled in undeveloped areas in America first told tall tales around the campfire after a hard day's work, hunting and gathering. People gathered to tell each other all sorts of funny stories. Pecos Bill was a larger-than-life hero of the American West. No one knows who first told the stories about Pecos Bill. Cowboys may have invented the stories. Others say Edward O'Reilly invented the characters and stories and wrote in the Century magazine in the early 1900s. The stories were collected in a book called The Saga of Pecos Bill, published in 1923. So they loaded up the wagon with all their things. Now, some say they had 15 children. The page flipped. Now, some say they had 15 children, while others say 18. However many there were, the children were louder than thunder. And as they set off across the wild country of the West, Texas, their mother and father could hardly hear a thing. It's Arizona. Yippee-ki-yay. East of the Yippee-ki-yay. Now, as they came to the Pecos River, the wagon hit a big rock. The force threw Little Bill out of the wagon, and he landed on the sandy ground. Mother did not know that Bill was gone until they gathered the children for the midday meal. Mother set off with some children to look for Bill, but they could not find no sign of him. Well, some people say Bill was just a baby when his family lost him. Others say he was 4 years old, but all agreed that a group of animals called coyotes found Bill and raised him. Bill did all the things those animals did, like chase lizards and howl at the moon. He became as good as any coyote could get. Now, Bill spent 17 years living like a coyote until one day a cowboy rode by on his horse. Some say the cowboy was one of Bill's brothers. Whoever he was, he took the one look at Bill and, "What are you?" Bill was not used to human language at first. He could not say anything. The cowboy repeated his question. This time Bill said, "Varmint." I'm sure it's pretty down and diggity. That's a word used for any kind of animal. "No, you aren't," said the cowboy. "Yes, I am," said Bill. "I have fleas." "Lots of people have fleas," said the cowboy. "You don't have a tail." "Yes, I do," said Bill. "Show it to me, then." The cowboy said. "Show us the goods." Anyways. "Well, what am I then?" asked Bill. "You're a cowboy, so start acting like one." The cowboy cried out. Well, that was all Bill needed to hear. He said goodbye to his coyote friends and left to join the world's first of humans. Now, Pecos Bill was a good cowboy. Still, he hungered for adventure. One day he heard the rough group of men. There is some debate over what the group's called. The Grease. That's my group. The Grease. And we're so hot. But one of the storytellers calls it the Hell's Gate Gang. Gosh dang it. Diddle dang dong it. But one of the storytellers calls it the Hell's Gate Gang. So Bill set out across the rough country to find the gang of men. Well, Bill's horse soon was injured, so Bill had to carry it for hundreds of miles. Then Bill met a rattlesnake 50 feet long, and the snake made a hissing noise and was not about to let Bill pass. But after a tense minute, Bill beat the snake until it surrendered. He felt sorry for the varmint, though, so he has a heart. After Bill walked another 100 miles, he came across any angry lion, mountain lion, that is. There was a huge battle, but Bill took control of the big cat and put it on his saddle. He rode that mountain lion all the way to the camp of the Hell's Gate Gang. Now, when Bill saw the gang and shouted out, "Who's boss around here?" A huge cowboy, 9 feet tall, took one look at Bill and said in his shaky voice, "How is the boss?" "But you are the boss from here on in." With his gang, Pecos Bill was able to create the biggest ranch in Southwest. Bill and his men had so many cattle that they agreed all of New Mexico to hold them. Arizona was the pasture where the cattle ate grass. Impossible. There's no grass out here. Maybe so, don't it? Pecos Bill invented the art of being a cowboy. This is nonsensical talkings. He invented the skill of throwing a special rope called a lasso over a cow's. Man, have you seen Jesse? Or what? I gotta reconnect. I know they wrestle and tassel. I was at the bonfire. You didn't know? Bill invented the method of using a hot branding iron to permanently put the mark of ranch on a cow's skin. That helped stop people from stealing cattle. Some say he invented cowboy songs to help calm the cattle and make the cowboy's life easier. You're out at the bar and I'm writing a love song. Please get in the car, I admit that I was wrong. Rubber on the tar, used to putting your shoes on. But he also said to have natural tarantulas and scorpions as jokes. Now, Pecos Bill could ride anything that ever was. So, as some tell the story, there came a storm bigger than any other. It all happened during the worst drought in the West had ever seen. It was so dry that the horses and cows started to dry up and blow away in the wind. So when Pecos Bill saw the windstorm, he got an idea. The huge tornado snake kicked across the land in a wild bronco, but Bill jumped on it without a thought. You see the Blue Slush version 2.0. He rode that tornado across Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. Although the time squeezing the rain out of habit to save the land from a drought. When the storm was over, Bill fell off the tornado. He landed in California. He left a hole so deep that to this day it is known in Death Valley. Now, Bill had a horse named Widowmaker, like Overwatch. He got that name because any man who rode that horse would be thrown off and killed. And Widowmaker, in the end, caused the biggest problem for Pecos. You see, one day, Bill saw a woman. Not just any woman, but a wild red-headed woman riding a giant catfish down the Rio Grande River. Her name was Slewfoot Sue, and Bill fell in love with her at first sight. Well, Bill would not rest until he had asked for her hand in marriage and find out where she got her hair products and her favorite book, favorite color, and favorite cereal, and her ethnicity, by chance. Where are folks from? On the wedding day, Pecos Bill dressed in his best buckskin suit, and Sue wore a beautiful white dress. I prefer red. Just a red dress. Now, after the marriage ceremony, Slewfoot Sue got a really big idea. She decided that she wanted to ride Widowmaker. Bill begged her not to try, but she had to make up her mind. Well, the second she jumped on the horse's back, he began to kick and buck like nothing anyone had ever seen. He went so flying so high in the air that she sailed across the new moon. Clear over the new moon, my bad. Apologies, the stipulations of my epicness. She fell back to earth, but the steel spring bustle just bounced her back up, as high as before. Now, there were many different stories about what happened next. One story says Bill saw that Sue was in trouble. Shameta, black knife. So he took his rope out. I about had it. I'm gonna lose me bloody claw poppers. Though some say it was a rattlesnake. Somehow the two came to rest on the moon, and that's where she stayed. Some people say they raised a family up there. Their children were as loud as horns in Chicago. And the cars that drive, the vehicular apparatus that drive around here. People say that sound of thunder. That's one way to put it. Feliz, that's a flower. Shelby's in the shower.